What are you doing to save money on your beef prices? Where's the beef? That's the question. Hello, everyone, and welcome to SuttonsDaze. If you're new here, my name is Lisa. We are all about pantry preparedness. And this news is news that's not good for our pantries or our pocketbooks or much of anything else. About a week or so ago, the USDA announced beef prices hit a record $9.26 per pound, and experts warn that it could get worse. Yeah. Have you gone and tried to buy beef lately? The prices, I knew the prices had gone up, and I was kind of, because Phil not being able to eat or chew anything for 3 months made it to where it didn't make sense for me to spend my money on meat. Did I know that we were going to be eating beef again? Yes. Should I have stocked up on it? Yes, I should have. But I didn't. So while we were looking over our inventory yesterday, and I was trying to determine what I needed to get to in order to make sure that we would, have what we wanted for the winter, one of the things was beef. And yeah, I have beef in jars because I did can up some roasts in there in jars, and I have ground beef. I have some of that in the freezer, and I have some in jars. So, I mean, it's not like we don't have it. But on occasion, every now and then, we do like something a little different. I did want to can up some beef stew, and in order to do that, I need beef. But we'll see how it goes, quite honestly. I ended up going down a rabbit hole last night with this, and I've got lots of notes, so I hope you'll bear with me. And then not only am I going to tell you about what's going wrong, why it's going wrong, but we're going to try to work on some solutions also. Let's get started. Cattle numbers are at their lowest since the 1950s, so 75 years. Recovery is going to be slower and more unpredictable than other food spikes. Based on recent reports, U.S. beef prices have reached record highs, with choice beef cuts hitting $9.26 per pound in July, according to the USDA. The surge in prices is largely attributed to the shrinking U.S. cattle herd, which is at its lowest level since 1951. Our cattle herds are so much smaller than they used to be. We've been hearing about this for years, where people are selling off their younger herd where they normally wouldn't before because it costs too much to raise them. They don't have the funds. They're not getting the money for them. Several factors are contributing to this decline. And so we're going to go through some of those. Number one is drought conditions. We have had some amazing drought conditions now, prolonged, lasting 3 years in some regions. That's catastrophic. You cannot feed cattle on unwatered grass. So it just doesn't work. There's no pasture because it's all dried up. That means that you have to purchase your feed, which automatically makes it more expensive. The economic pressures, high production costs, including feed, labor, and energy, have made it challenging for cattle producers to maintain and expand their herds. Those increases in costs, it's not even a matter of processing them. It's a matter of keeping them fed that is so hard to do anymore. Early sale of breeding females is another thing that they've been doing because it costs money to keep them. Some ranchers have opted to sell their breeding females rather than retain them for herd expansion, further contributing to the decline in herd numbers. If you get rid of the females, then there's nobody there to produce more calves. Imports are another one, import restrictions. So this one passed me, and I don't know how because it's such an interesting name. A screwworm parasite outbreak in Mexico led to the USDA restricting imports, further tightening the U.S. beef industry. So we're kind of getting hit from all angles here as far as beef is concerned. If you're a vegetarian, I applaud you, I thank you, I appreciate you. Not all of us are. And for those of us that aren't, this really hurts. Experts are warning that the recovery of the beef supply and subsequent hopeful decrease in prices, how often have you ever seen prices decrease, right? Will likely be slow and unpredictable compared to other food surges, such as the egg price spike earlier this year. This is due to the fragmented and complex nature of the beef industry. And that quote was from Fox Business. So while the cattle herd is showing signs of stabilizing, significant rebuilding efforts have yet to commence because they can't afford it. Even if ranchers begin rebuilding now, beef supplies aren't expected to fully recover before 2028 or 29, suggesting elevated cattle and beef prices for the foreseeable future, according to Farm Progress. This is not a problem that's going to solve itself quickly, if ever. What can we do to protect ourselves? That's the key thing right now, okay? And this comes back to the conversation that I have regularly here, is that you will never eat today at the price that you purchased yesterday. And tomorrow, if you eat what you purchased today, it's going to be less than what you would purchase tomorrow. This is how we make inflation. This is how we make these events less painful, is by putting off the exorbitant cost that is hitting other people on the daily, because we have prepared, because we have stocked up. So what can we do to protect ourselves against the increased prices moving forward? Protecting your budget against these increased prices involves a combination of different things. One, smart shopping strategies and exploring alternative food choices. Yes, you can substitute beef for, a bunch of different things. Does it taste as good? Well, it doesn't taste like beef, that's for sure. So as far as your shopping strategies go, plan your meals around sales. Watch for those sales. Check the flyers, online specials, see what meats are on sale. That's what you want to base your menu plan around. That's what you want to base your canning plan around, okay? Buy in bulk when possible. If it's possible, try to do that. Sometimes the price is a little bit less. Based on about 2 hours of research last night, I'm not seeing that anywhere near me. I went in a 2-mile radius, 2-hour radius from where we are. And I was not seeing that reduction based on bulk. All I was seeing was bulk. That was it. But if you can do it and the price is less if you buy in bulk, then it's definitely worth it considering the prices today. You want to utilize the coupons and the loyalty programs. I know I hate punching my phone number in there more than anybody else in the world, but it's one of those things that you can do. You want to look for discount grocery shopping opportunities. Save a Lot is no longer a thing around us. I don't know where they are anymore, but if you have a Save a Lot, or if you have discount stores in your area, stores like Aldi, which even their prices have been up. And I was never a big fan of buying a whole bunch of meat there, because it's not packaged that way. It just seems like a lot. But if they do have a decent price and you can get in there and get the limit, then take advantage. Wholesale clubs like Sam's Club and stuff might have some sales. I haven't seen any worth driving for yet, so keep an eye on those. But those can help offset, the price, as opposed to the local grocery store. Now, I will tell you, what was I looking at? I think a ribeye loin. I think it was a ribeye loin I was looking at. I saw prices of $20 and $25 a pound for those. I was, what? Are you kidding me? And that was at the local market. It wasn't any better at Sam's Club. So you're going to have to do some homework, do a little bit of surfing, figure out what you can do. Don't go shopping on an empty stomach. You will make the worst choices ever, right? It can lead to impulse buying and overspending, especially if you really want like a steak or something. Compare the price and the unit cost. That is going to be big when you're looking at the meat that you want to purchase, especially when you look at your ground beef. Now, I know that 70-30 can be cheaper than 90-10, but you're also paying for the fat. So you need to determine how that factors into how you eat, your dietary needs, your budget needs, all that kind of thing, okay? And consider buying directly from farms or co-ops, because if you join a farm or, a co-op, you get a higher quality meat most of the time and potentially lower prices than your typical grocery store. Some alternative protein sources is to obviously integrate more plant-based protein into your diet. Add some lentils or beans in with your ground beef. It'll make a huge difference. It really will. And you won't notice. You really won't. You want to reduce your reliance on beef by incorporating more vegetarian options. if that's something that you can go for. I cannot eat tofu. It is not good. It is literally physically painful for me. So I stay away from tofu. I can eat beans, so I add beans. There are a ton of different options out there for you to explore, and most of them are not very expensive. You can also utilize more affordable protein sources. Like right now, eggs are more affordable. So load up on eggs for your protein. Protein is important. I have a very protein-rich diet. And so protein is extremely important for me, but overall, it's important for everyone. So definitely take a look at that unless you have kidney issues. I know there's always an exception to the rule. I'm saying as a whole, okay? And then opt for lesser expensive cuts of meat. It may not be the ribeye that you want, but it's a real interesting New York strip maybe, or Denver, or whatever. There are different cuts of meat that'll give you that thing. If you're looking at like a steak, find the lower quality cut and you'll still enjoy a steak. Remember, my friends, okay, a little planning and conscious decision making at the grocery store can go a super, super long way while managing your budget, even in times of rising food prices. From the sounds of this is going to be 4 to 5 years long. And you know as well as I do, it is rare that once prices go up that they ever come back down again. So I'm not counting on this, but we're going to talk about how to effectively find some local selling beef, especially in your state, and some key strategies and important considerations to factor in. So there are some websites. I'll put them down below too, but there are farm directories, right? Sites like Eat Wild and localharvest.org are excellent starting points for finding farms near you that offer grass-fed or other sustainably raised meats, if that's important to you. Search for regional co-ops and buying clubs. That's always helpful. I know I've heard a lot of you talking about how you went in with family members or just yourself and purchased a cow to go into the freezer for this year. You know, that's a great way to save some money. It also makes you much more aware of what actually comes off of one cow. So you can look for those community pickup points, that kind of thing. Social media groups. You can search out social media groups or other platforms to find out availability, special deals, they connect with customers. Search for farms in your area. It's a great way. You want to connect in person when at all possible. Farmers markets are another great resource, and local butcher shops, because those folks are so knowledgeable and will be able to point you in the right directions. Some important questions when you are considering a farm to purchase your meats from, okay? These are kind of important questions. What was the animal's diet? Was it beef fed grass or beef grass fed? Was the beef grass fed? Thank you. Was it grain finished? Was it a combination? If you don't care, it doesn't matter, okay? Any use of antibiotics or hormones. Some people have, a concern about that. Are the animals raised with or without these? Pasture raised. Are the animals free to roam and graze? I know that one's important to me a lot. Certified. You want to look for certifications if you are looking for organic. Are they certified organic or follow other ethical practices like animal welfare approved? Because if you get meat from an animal that wasn't treated well, you will be able to tell. Yes, you will. Farm practices. Inquire about their overall approach to animal welfare, land stewardship, and sustainability. I'm not going to lie to you. Some of these farmers are going to tell you to go pound sand, but some of them might be very happy to let you know how they run their operations. Processing, where is it processed? That's important too. If I want USDA processing, I have to go clear across to the other side of the state, drop them off, come back home, and then go a week or so later, clear back across to the other side of the state, pick them up and bring them back home in freezer form. Where there are local processors that I can use here, and you can typically, theoretically, find the same kind of thing that I do. When we raise the pigs, we raise them for people, and it is then up to them. Now, because we love our customers, okay, we'll haul them to a processor, one processor. And then we will arrange for them to pay the processor and pick it up. That's a way to get past all of, the USDA stuff. But if you don't want to buy an entire animal, then you do want to make sure that it's USDA approved, because not everybody is a wonderful human being. Do you know what I mean? Some other considerations that you want to factor in before you go all willy-nilly and jump into this is freezer space. Freezer space is imperative. If buying in bulk, like a quarter or a half a cow, ensure you have adequate freezer space. A quarter cow typically needs about 4 cubic feet, and a half a cow about 8 cubic feet. If you get a whole one, guess what it is? 16. Yep. Delivery options are something else to factor in, because like we did, we took it to the processor, and if arrangements were made, we would pick it up for you. We didn't have a place to hold it for you, but since we were going up there anyway, we would pick it up for you. You need to find out what those delivery options are. Some farms provide delivery service or participate in local buying group co-ops. There's different options out there, so many. So you're going to want to find out how it is that you get that meat. And if you're working with somebody who raises them for you, when they go to the processor, you want to make sure that you're talking to the processor to figure out the cuts. They are normally the nicest people in the world, and they will walk you through all the stuff. When it comes to pricing, that's another thing that's going to flip-flop no matter where you are, okay? Local and sustainably raised beef is often priced similarly or slightly higher than grocery store options due to the quality and care in productions. However, buying in bulk can sometimes lead to some cost savings. So by using these strategies and asking the right questions, you can find local quality beef produced in your area that will align with your preferences and your values and your pocketbook. That's what you have to look out for. I went on for, like I said, about 2 hours last night, scoping out prices. I literally just want to pick up a few roasts and a few steaks to put in the freezer for over the winter, and it may not be something that I can pull off in the way that I'm used to pulling it off. I'm going to have to watch for some serious sales. I'm going to have to lower the quality and make it work. What are you doing to save money on your beef prices? Where's the beef? That's the question. If you want to see how you can can up your beef, check out this playlist right here. And until next time, everybody, be safe. Keep stacking it to the rafters, my friends.